Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, 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 Rama Rama Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama Rama Rama
Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Suratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jai Guru Raya. Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram Ram Ra. Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram Ram Ra. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram Ram Ra. Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram Ram Ra. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram Ram Ra. Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram 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 Ra, Ram Ram Ra. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama
Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki jai. Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Arpanamastu. Once again, we have been blessed with this great opportunity of chanting His name in His powerful shrine. And we know that it's no small grace that we are able to sing at all, and that in His powerful presence. So in celebration of this grace, with deep gratitude, we have offered the Nama lotuses at His lotus feet. We have been going through some stories which had been read out to Bhagwan on various occasions during his stay at Sudama. Many books used to come by post, and whatever Bhagwan found interesting, he would ask us to read again and again. One of those books was the Neeti Shatakam by Bhartruhari. There is not exactly a story, but something very important that we all have to know. Swami Kamalatmananda, in his beautiful style of writing, has expressed very effectively some of the things that Shri Bhartruhari described. Shri Bhartruhari is supposed to be the brother of the King Vikramaditya. He came soon after Patanjali, who wrote an exposition for Panini's grammar. But there are many stories, many versions of this. But all the same, we shall see what we have to learn today. Shri Bhartruhari says there are 4 types of people. There are people with Deva Guna, the characteristics of a Deva, a celestial being. And what is that? That they sacrifice everything for the welfare of the world, like a candle which burns itself to give light, like an incense stick which burns itself to give a beautiful smell. As an example, the Swamiji says that once Swami Vivekananda, Swami Sharadananda, and Swami Ramakrishnananda and Swami Premananda, the great disciples of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, were going on an atra. They were paribrajakas. They were wandering monks. And with great difficulty, after 2 days' starvation, they had collected some money, some food. There was only a little, but even that was enough for 4 of them after 2 days of starvation. Just at the time they were going to eat, they came across a sannyasi, a Hindustani sannyasi, whom they found was starving for 4 days. Immediately they offered their food to him and went starving again. This is Deva Guna, sacrificing one's own comfort, one's own need for the sake of the others. And then Bhartruhari goes on to describe the second type of people. They have Manushya Guna. That is, they have the characteristics of a human being. And that is, when they have got some food, if somebody should come without food and is starving, immediately they would divide their food into two parts and they would keep one for themselves and offer the other to him. These people would live nicely with themselves and also make others live. They would share everything. Though they keep something for themselves, they share with others. And Swami gives the example of a shop owner who is very honest, who makes a reasonable profit, but also is very generous, and he sells things at reasonable price so that everybody would benefit and he would benefit also. Now the third type of people is Mriga Guna, that is the characteristics of an animal. Just imagine an animal in the form of human being. What do? They want to live comfortably, they want to live nicely, as Bhagwan would put it, and for their own comfort and luxury, they would go to any extent to cheat other people, even to destroy them. An example is, a boy has brought some food to the school and he brings it out to eat. Now there's another boy who didn't get anything at all to eat. And then he sees this boy bringing out the food to eat. Immediately, he comes near this boy and without informing anything, he would just snatch it from him and throw it away. So that neither of them could eat anything. That is, because he didn't eat, he didn't want the other one to eat. These people, the shopkeeper, the same shopkeeper, he won't be honest. He would hoard things, and then he would not sell genuine stuff. He would mix it up. He would mix the genuine one with anything else that would suit and blend with it, and sell at a very high price. It would not matter to him if people should eat this and land in sickness. If people should get sick by eating this food, it just wouldn't bother them, as long as they make money out of it. We come across such shopkeepers, shop owners, in many, many places. In fact, there seems to be a general trend these days. So here we see this type of people. In order to live in luxury and in comfort, they would go to any extent to spoil the life of the others. Now the fourth one is the Asura Guna. That is, these people have the characteristics of a Rakshasa. And we all know from the Puranas what the Rakshasas do. they would destroy others, even if it meant destroying themselves. So, again, they would go to any extent, and there is a very humorous story that Swami narrates, and that is, there was this man who wanted to get everything that he wanted, he desired. So he went into great tapas, thinking of Lord Shiva. And when Lord Shiva was very pleased with his tapas, he appeared before him and asked, "Whatever boon you want, you may ask. I am pleased with your tapas." Then this man said, "Well, whatever I want, I must get. Please give me this boon." Now Lord Shiva smiled and said, "Okay, I would give you this boon, but with one condition. Whatever you get, your neighbor will get twice that. If you agree to it, I'll give you this boon." Now this man had no other go. He said yes. And then he went straight home. He wanted a good vehicle, say a car, for his own use. And the minute he thought, a car appeared just outside his house for his use. And this man became very happy. He came out, had a very good look at this beautiful, luxurious car, was very pleased with himself for getting this boon. And suddenly he turned to find two cars outside the neighbor's house. Two such cars. Naturally, he was very annoyed, but he could do nothing about it because this was the kind of boon that he got. And after that, he was asking his wife, "What else do we get?" His wife suggested, "Get a beautiful bungalow, a 2-storied palace." Then, of course, he thought, "I would have a palace with 2 stories, a beautiful house." Of course, immediately it came to pass, and he was very happy. He came out of the house to examine the garden. And that's when he saw the neighbor's house. My God, it was bigger than his own, and it had 4 stories, not just 2, but 2, because twice whatever he got. Now again, he felt very jealous, and he thought it was not fair at all. He did tapas to get this boon, and his neighbor, without doing anything, was benefiting even more, twice. And that wasn't fair at all. He got wild, and then he planned how that his friend, the neighbor, should be harmed in some way, that he would not get this benefit anymore. Then he thought up an idea. He imagined a well, a good big well with water, right in the middle of the ground floor, inside the house. It was on the same level as the floor, and immediately the neighbor had 2 such on the ground floor in his palace. Now immediately, this man thought, okay, none of the people in my house will enjoy the sight of the second eye. They would all have only one eye. The other eye should be gone. So they became blind in one eye. And what would have happened to the neighbor? The neighbors, all the people in the neighboring house, they lost both the eyes. Just imagine, he didn't mind losing, he didn't mind becoming blind in one eye. He would still have one eye to see. But he was very happy the neighbor would lose both his eyes. And of course all the people of the family. And true to that, what happened? Those people, the family, became blind, and there were two such big wells. So while walking, they did not know, they fell into the well, and all of them died. This man was very happy. This is a Rakshasa. That it doesn't matter what harm comes to me, but the other man should be destroyed completely. So now we know that whatever, it is God who has created all of us. Every creature in the cosmos is His creation. And so all of us, all the creatures are only instruments in His hands. So we don't want to be any of the latter three characters. We must develop the characteristic of a celestial being. We have come across people like Seshadri Swami, Ramana Bhagwan, and Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan, and we have been extremely blessed to have Bhagwan, to have had Bhagwan with us, who moved with us, who blessed us all, who interacted with us, and who is still protecting all of us, who is still helping, guiding and protecting all of us. And we all knew how he lived his life. Even when he was sick with cancer, everybody begged him. And when I asked him, why would he suffer like this when he had done only good to the world all the time? He said, Father has given the sickness for some cosmic balance, which means the cosmos would have gained in some way to the extent that he was pained. And then I begged him, why wouldn't you use? Have I not seen so many people getting cured of cancer by your blessings? Swami, please do something, Bhagwan, so that you get cured. You know what he said? Devaki, that power is not for this body. This body is mud and dust. That power is meant only for the devotees. And Bhagwan often said, the great masters, Mahatmas, are like a candle that burns on both ends, just to give light to the world. So they are the models for all of us, that we should beg them, follow whatever they have taught us, and at least we must try. They have achieved it, but we must keep trying and trying. And Bhagwan said this trying is tapas. So let us beg and pray that we should become only sattvic instruments in His hands. Even the evil instruments have been made by Him for His eternal Leela, the eternal drama that He is directing from eternity to eternity. So there are the animals, the plant kingdom, and of course the Rakshasas. Every one of them is an instrument only and in His hands, and they are playing their part as designed by the divine. But then we shall pray and beg that we should be only sattvic instruments in His hands, that we also become the embodiment of sacrifice, just as our masters have been. We shall now offer our today's prayer at the lotus feet of Bhagwan. Bhagwan, we beg you again and again for your immediate divine intervention to bring forth a dharmic normalcy to today's world in all aspects of life. Why do I say dharmic normalcy? Because there is so much of adharma, so much violence in the world, growing enmity between people and people. And of course there is already the war going on with all that it's meant for. And of course the sudden attacks of vicious diseases, killer diseases, and the furies of nature. We have been reading about the Jyotish Mat, the Himalayas, the whole place. There is some earthquake underneath, and there is cracks, becoming chasms, and buildings are all falling down, and people have to be, it has to be evacuated. Families are being carried away to some safe place. So there is this sudden earthquakes, flash floods, forest fire, the lightning strikes, and whatnot. We beg you, Bhagwan, to bring in peace, love, unity, harmony, friendship, and brotherhood, mutual help, mutual understanding and help. Only you can establish it again, because you are the cosmic controller. We also beg you to have good control over these diseases and the furies of nature. We beg again to root out all the negativities of the human mind which are responsible for today's violent world. We also beg you to reach out to those people who have been stranded helplessly in varied parts of the world for some reason or the other. Of course, it's all their karmas, and yet they have been crying out with no help or protection. They may belong to different countries, speak different languages, they embrace different religions. We beg you to reach out to them and do the needful. We also beg you to protect all those unselfish people who have been slogging for the sake of the others from unhealthy criticisms, unhealthy reproaches, and aspersion. We beg you again to promote, to give a boost to the economy of the country and to promote the growth of India in varied fields of activity, from science, technology to culture and spirituality, that India reaches that status, that divine status of the world teacher, so that it would conduct the whole world in the path of dharma as predicted by great masters. India, as Bhagwan often said, is the Leela Bhumi of the great masters, the playground of great masters. We also pray to you in all earnestness, sincerity and intensity for ceaseless chanting of your powerful name, an unbroken remembrance of your Leelas and teachings, so that we assimilate it into our system and convert it into Atma Shakti. Once again, we pray and pray that we should be only sattvic instruments in your hands. We don't want to be a Ravana, or Kamsa, or Duryodhana. Bhagwan, please bless us to run our everyday life as an offering to you and not be caught by the temptations of Maya. We also want your state of mukti, the state of the final bliss and peace. But then we need to be purified. We have been afflicted with fear. It's a killer fear sometimes. Anger, poisonous anger. And of course sorrow, depression. and jealousy and growing desires for worldly possessions. But then, how to cleanse ourselves? We take refuge in your powerful Nama and our ceaseless chanting of it with joy of it. Then all this would become our Atma Shakti. We also take refuge in joyful service to you, no matter where we live, be it a house or a forest or a temple or an ashram, whatever work falls into our hand, if we do it in the spirit of service to you, without any unhealthy competition or jealousy, and that in the spirit of surrender, then all this would become our Atma Shakti. And finally, please bless us to practice acceptance of whatever life brings to us, be it a joy or sorrow. Coming from you, they can only be a great blessing, but then we do not know when something negative is happening. All the same, we should remember and trust the wisdom of the great masters that whatever happens, happens because it's necessary for our spiritual growth, and whatever happens is for our greater good and closer kinship with God. And it is truly so. As we progress, we will be able to see gradually the powerful, vibrant, living, pulsating presence of God everywhere and in everything. Bhagwan, please bless us to be able to see your will behind all the happenings of life, all the happenings of the world. And more importantly, please bless us to be able to see that hidden grace of yours even in the most ruinous, devastating experiences of life. When some past bad karma takes over all of a sudden, without having enough strength of mind, we collapse. And then we begin to resent you. We feel that you have let us down. And we try to move away from you. And what's more, we begin to blame everyone else for our own failures, little realizing that it's we who have invited these sufferings upon ourselves by our past karmas. But then you, out of your love and generosity, would see to it that we don't move away from you and convert all our adversities into great blessings. For you have said so. You have promised, and it has been our experience also. So we pray to you to bless us to be grateful to you, even for the adversities of life. We also seek your blessings for all the species of the cosmos to be lifted to a higher plane. And finally, we who have been seeking only solutions for our endless problems, now seek dissolution. Dissolution of what? The aham bhavam, that I am the body, idea, the ego, the tyranny of the ego, which is the root cause of all evil in the world, which is the root cause of our birth, the cycle of birth and death. So we seek redemption, liberation from the vicious cycle of births and deaths, so that we be blessed with that immortal life, that eternal living and eternal servitude to you, that eternal supreme entity. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.